embraces traditional...
That is not how you slide, you silly...
Huh? Kaboom!
I really want to watch a wholesome video with you guys. I heard about this, and apparently it's super sweet. So we should watch it, okay? We should watch it. It's called The Single Mother VTuber That Overcame Everything. We need some good feels today. We need some good feels. For Mom. Thank you for sacrificing your dreams so I could pursue mine.
On April 9th, 2025, a JP indie VTuber named Otsuka Rei posts a heartfelt letter to her daughter starting kindergarten.
My daughter Reika will be entering kindergarten this spring. Without everybody's support, I wouldn't have been able to raise her as a single mother.
From these 2 sentences alone, I knew I had to tell Rei's story to the Western audience.
Aww.
Inspired, I DM'd Rei for an interview to learn more about this resilient story of being a single mother in Japan and being able to support her only daughter through her VTuber activities.
Aww.
Rei graciously agreed to answer my questions, so now
Cute.
I will tell her story. This story begins with a Japanese girl falling in love with a particular individual. Sadly, he ended up being a playboy and Rei got dumped. If things couldn't be even more intense, she found out that she was pregnant.
The day I found
Oh,
out I
no.
was unexpectedly pregnant, I felt anxious. My parents were repeatedly in and out of the hospital, and I don't have any siblings. I
Aw.
wasn't sure if I could raise a baby properly without anyone to rely on.
She was definitely on the fence about giving birth, and to complicate things, Rei was a physically weak person, so people around her was concerned about whether she could safely give birth. What shifted Rei's mind was her familiar duties to her father and grandmother. Both of these family members told Rei
this is
personally
rough.
that they wanted to see the face of her unborn daughter, and these very words influenced this young woman to give birth.
My father received a terminal prognosis and my grandmother was already of an old age.
Ah,
I
yeah.
wanted to make them happy while they were still alive. And this feeling also motivated my determination to give birth to Reika-chan.
It was important to
This
mention that
is
Reika's
sweet.
birth...
I feel like, okay. I know this is probably cheesy to say, but as somebody who is terrified of childbirth, okay, I know that's silly. Like, the idea that somebody unexpectedly, like, I like, okay, everybody's an adult. Of course, it's a responsibility, right? But, you know, like, finding out you're pregnant and did not intend on being it still sounds like the worst, scariest thing ever, right? And, like, being brave enough to be like, you know what, I'm terrified of this and I don't know what to do, but you know what, I'm gonna, you know, own up to it and go through with it. It's just, I don't know. It takes a special sort of person, you know? My mom had, not identical or anything, not like the Playboy thing, but like a similar situation where she had me when she was like very, like did not know she was pregnant and like, you know, my mom's my hero, okay?
itself was a difficult one. Due to Rei's weak physical body, she was actually in critical condition during the child-rearing process. It got so bad at one point, the doctor approached Rei's father and asked him, do you want to save Rei or Reika?
Oh my god. That's so scary. Nobody told me this was a wholesome story that started with horror. Jeez.
Did their best to persevere, and so Reika safely came into this world.
Dang.
It was during this time where a president of some agency tried to
Lucky.
recruit this new mother to become an idol streamer at their company. Because Rei loves singing and dancing and needed a source of income to support her newborn, she jumped at the opportunity. This is kind of where Rei entered
Sounds
her
nice.
Oshinoko arc, because while she was doing her idol activities, she had to keep it a secret from her fans that Reika exists. Lady Luck was on this new idol side because she was getting more popular as an idol streamer and was actually getting a lot of money from fans. But at a certain point, Rei felt a growing burden of lying to her fans. But on a much more important note, there's also the possibility of making Reika feel lonely. This is where she made a complete career shift towards VTubing. But
this is really interesting, right? Because I feel like it's completely fine if you want to keep things private. I actually really respect it, right? Because like if you have a kid, the internet could be a horrible place, right? Like first of all, it's very good to supervise your kid if they're online at all. And secondly, like, you know, the online space is not geared towards children. There are children specific places, but you know, I could totally understand somebody being like, it's not your business and like protecting you know, if they had a kid, I imagine like, you know, you'd be just protecting your kid or whatever. Like, I was even careful to tell you guys I had a brother because, like, I don't know. What if something bad happened and somebody was like stalking or whatever? I wouldn't want like my brother affected by that, right? I've heard people like call people's parents. Like the act man, like that whole situation, like they called his mom. I was like, what if my like anybody I know, what if my family members get affected for something they're completely innocent and like didn't do anything to deserve, right? So like I could respect that. So it's very interesting and sweet that you know, I feel like this was probably such a big part of her life, right? That she wanted to share it too. That's my guess.
But why VTubing?
Originally, I performed as an idol without concealing my face, but I had an opportunity to perform alongside VTubers at an event. Witnessing how much they enjoyed performing and how brightly they shone on stage sparked my interest in this world of VTubing. I was also deeply moved by the enthusiasm of the fans, which made me think I also want to dive into this world too.
VTubing just made sense in this case because it was the optimal choice of raising Reika as a single mother by being able to work from home while maintaining a certain level of privacy. What made things even more interesting is that this new VTuber made the conscious decision of including Reika in her streams.
My daughter is still young and in such an irreplaceable stage of childhood, so I would always like to be by her side. As expected, baby Reika would cry for milk every few hours. I don't have anyone close to me whom I can trust Reika to.
Man.
And I think it's impossible to hide the truth while doing streaming activities alone.
One other thing that Ray mentioned was that she fondly looked back on the times her parents had recorded videos of her childhood. In many of the same ways, streaming together with her daughter was a way to preserve her daughter's growth and memories.
That's
Well,
sweet.
I'm very happy Reika was included in her.
The way that you think a family channel would be, quote unquote. Like a lot of family channels like force the camera in front of people, and it's like it always makes people who are just innocently like, you know, showing, you know, like recording moments to cherish like look way bad.
Streams because she is so precious. I mean, look at the time she found out that she was going to Sanrio Borderland.
Aw, Sanrio! Squealing! Cute! Future
Personally,
Iron
my
Mouse
favorite part
enjoyer
of this
spotted.
dynamic is when Reika would jump on for a karaoke stream and sing with her mother.
That's so cute. Oh my god, my heart.
I'm thankful to God this girl isn't my niece, because if she asked for pocket money at a family function, I would deadass Venmo her $500,
Take all my money.
5.59 Bitcoin, and start a trust fund for her. Ray-san actually shared with me that she plans on releasing an original song with Reika-chan, and it will be a cute children's song. On my mama, when that peak drops, you know what I'm blasting when the bros hand me the aux cord. What's truly amazing is how a medium like VTubing makes content like this accessible and is able to give individuals like Ray an opportunity to pursue their dreams, but also have the opportunity of being so involved with raising their children.
Yeah, I think that this is kind of difficult, right? Because it's like the online world is scary. And if you're going to have kids in the online space, the correct scenario, at least to me, right, is to like have your parent be monitoring you, right? You know? Because there are spaces you could be in with, you know, with your parent behind you so that you don't have to experience, you know, the worst parts of it, you know?
Truly glad from the bottom of my heart that I chose to become a VTuber. My body isn't very strong, so I believe it will be difficult for me to continue as an idol or get a regular full-time job while raising
Bro, you birthed a whole child. You birthed a whole child. You're plenty strong in my book, lady.
Child on my own. I was a victim of stalking during my idol days, so for the sake of protecting my child's privacy, being a VTuber where I don't have to show myself is the choice that can give me peace of mind. Most importantly, because the VTuber work style exists, I don't have to miss the irreplaceable moments of being with Reika.
But beyond this miracle story, I also wanted to
This
get
is so sweet. Ah! I love it. It makes my heart so warm. It makes my heart so warm.
Ray's perspective on being a single mother in Japan. It would be an understatement to say that there is a huge negative stigma towards single mothers in this country. Japan is a place that embraces traditional.
That is not how you slide, you silly.
Japan is a place that embraces traditional values and has a strong emphasis on family structure, especially having a two-parent household. A single mother is a complete antithesis of this. So when a normal Japanese person initially runs into single mothers, they are instantly labeled as irresponsible, failed, or even selfish for raising a child alone.
Yeah, I imagine, like, okay. So when my mom raised me and she had my dad with her, people would still give her side eyes because she was younger at the time. She was just young compared to other mothers, right? She was 18, and that's just like, even though she was an adult, people are like, oh my gosh, right? But I've heard in like, and that was a while ago, right? That was back like when, I'm an adult, so a while ago, right? So I feel like maybe in our parents' generation, it was a little bit more common, but in these other cultures, it could be a lot worse when it's like collectivist, and it's like, I heard that they judge you a lot harsher.
In Japan,
Like
the
to this
reality
day.
is that being a single mother often doesn't leave a good impression. Oftentimes, we find ourselves in a difficult financial situation, and it is not uncommon for people to think that poverty equals our own fault.
This is a common belief held by many Japanese people based on the current standings of this group. According to the scholarly paper, Evidence from Low-Income Single Mothers in Contemporary Japan, 51.4% of single mother households in Japan live below the poverty line.
Oh my
which is one of the
god. That is so high. I didn't realize it was that bad. My goodness. That's really rough.
highest rates among developed countries.
Holy.
Many people just overlook.
Wait, where's the US? Wait. Dang. We're not even on here, I guess. Sheesh. Sheesh. That is bad. I would be willing to bet it didn't get better. Oof.
Among developed countries.
Yeah, that's rough.
Many people just overlook how hard it is of truly raising a kid alone in Japan.
No matter
Bro, it's hard no matter where you are. But like now you got the cultural stigma, and now you got like the higher, like the highest chance, or like one of the highest chance of like basically being under the poverty level because of where you live. Like, man.
how hard we work, we also face prejudice, such as you only care about work and neglect your child.
Oh my god. Bruh, so if she doesn't work, then she said she's being a bad parent, and if she does work, well, now she's not giving enough back to spending time. Like,
Or, I don't think you can
That's
properly
rough.
raise your child. The truth is, we work that hard because we care about our child. However,
No.
I feel like it is hard for others to understand that.
I could definitely feel Ray's frustration of people looking down on single mothers like her who put everything on the line for their children. She shares things like, as a mother, what brings me the most joy is seeing my daughter smile. No matter how tired I am, Reika's adorable smile always heals me. Or observes that children mimic what parents do as they grow up. That's why I have to work hard to be a role model for my daughter. When I hear these deep, meaningful answers about being a single mother, I can only show my respect for people like Ray. My respect for her only grew further as she gave encouragements to single parents out there diligently raising their children on their own.
Yeah, I feel like also, there's good and bad, ups and downs to both. Idol culture and outside of, VTubing just being a medium. But it all started with idol culture, and I think idol culture is a lot stronger in Japan. So I think it's really nice. Like, I'm not saying we should never have idols, right? But I think it's really great that specifically this is also happening in Japan, because I feel like it can make others, us, moms that are under the poverty level, that are dealing with the same thing as her, right? It's probably like the first time they feel recognized by something in media. Well, maybe not the first, but you know what I mean, right? It's good to have different things, like holistic stuff like this. I feel like it's healthy.
You don't have to be perfect, and don't work too hard. The worst thing that can happen is for a parent to fall ill, especially a single parent. I used to keep pushing myself to the limit and ended up falling ill.
Oof.
My viewers scolded me for it, so I've been more mindful of my workload.
What I just like about Ray's story is that it
I also wonder, right? that because like the collectivist culture, maybe having a lot of people around you that are saying positive things, since you know, you can hear other people IRL like being unaccepting, would help your mental, right?
Provides so much hope. She's able to show people that there's always a way, despite your circumstances or the way people label you. For me though, at a
Like her viewers can uplift her and she can inspire others that are in her situation or have only seen VTubers maybe or no VTubers in Japan as more idol oriented, which isn't wrong, but I mean like this is good. Like that diversity is good. It takes all kinds. It's good.
certain point, I straight up asked her, how in the world did you persevere through all these life challenges? For her specifically, being a single mother is hard enough, but she also had to deal with other life curveballs, like having her father pass away last year,
Aw,
or
man.
dealing day to day with her physically weak body.
When
To
it
that
rains, it
question,
pours.
She had a short but profound answer.
The more difficult experiences a person has gone through, the more they are able to save someone's soul. The
Oh,
person who never gives up until the end will undoubtedly succeed.
True.
These two phrases have always
Based.
remained in my heart. Since I was young, I have experienced various illnesses and long-term hospitalizations. Even now, I often can't sing well due to my throat and ear illnesses. But I believe that you will eventually be rewarded for pushing through these tough situations.
oh.
This has been the story of
That's
Otsuka
so
Ray and her
sweet
inspiring
and
story of
wholesome.
being a single mother VTuber raising her precious 4-year-old daughter, Reika. If you want to
I
support
love
her
it.
in any way, all of her social info will be down below. She has expressed deep interest in interacting with overseas fans, so don't be afraid in showing her some love. I will also be assisting her in this really monumental project that US fans will appreciate, so
Ooh,
be on the lookout for
cool.
that. Now,
More
if
stuff
you don't
incoming
mind me,
too.
I'm going to indulge in my 20th replay of Reika-chan belting out Lolligot Requiem. So peace!
Anime go brrrr. A weeb of all time. Yeah, this is very wholesome. You get drama every day. It's blasted at us. We gotta remember the wholesome stuff is still there all the time. We just gotta look out for it and you know, support it.